Two guys talking about the good old days. Half of it's truth, the rest's a haze. If it bombed back then, it kills right now. Yeah, memories funny like that somehow. Names get dropped, stories grow tall. Every set was a murder, no bombs at all. The stand-up memories, take it as you please. Where the past gets better with every tell and tease. Welcome to Stand-Up Memories.
And it is.
I still like the jingle.
I love it.
3 weeks now.
I think that was only our second week with that.
No.
Yes, Stand-Up Memories. Peter Bales, Jackie the Joke Man, Martling, and here we go. A wonderful guest.
It's showtime, Peter.
It's showtime. She has her own brand.
I can't believe
her own
how long you
show.
been doing this? 40 years.
How long?
And you're still this nervous before a show?
I think it's weird not to be nervous.
I get nervous just seeing how nervous you are.
Okay.
Just
I'm not nervous. I'm excited. Ladies and gentlemen, she's got her own brand, her own show, her own podcast, and she's with us tonight, Michele Traina. There she is.
Yes, a beautiful girl.
Thank you for coming on.
Divorce Diaries, something you could have for 50% of everything.
I could. And, it's perfect. She's got a brand, and we're going to talk about it. It's Divorce Diaries. And right before she came on, she goes, wait, let me move this basket of laundry, which I think may sum up a bit about your life.
Yeah, it's like a prop at this point, right?
No, that was real laundry that she had.
And in real true Italian fashion at my mother's house.
All right.
Oh, okay.
I have a single mom, kid is at practice, running around trying to make spots, be on the podcast, do laundry. And also that laundry basket is my mother has like clean laundry in it. I always have laundry baskets that are overflowing into like the kitchen. So it's always, yes, it's a big part of my brand.
Wow. All right. You're a comedian. Tell us about Divorce Diaries.
Yeah. So I started Divorce Diaries when I was getting divorced. I had a background in improv at the time. I was teaching theater and I wanted to go back to performing full time. I used to do musical theater and acting in college and outside of college. And I shifted gears when I got married and I wanted to go back, and I was creating the show because I was living at home with my parents, my 2-year-old daughter, my handicapped dog, and I was like the Real Housewife without the house. That's how I felt. Like I would watch like all those reality shows as an escape. And I was like, my life needs to be a reality show. So I started to work on a one-woman show. I had written them before, and it was what I was used to. And shortly after I started writing the show, I did it as a one-woman play, but people were like crying and in the show, and I didn't want them to cry.
I mean, that's great to get them to emote like that, but like,
yeah, it's already depressing to go through divorce. I wanted people to laugh when they came to my show, so I shifted gears. And around that time, I remember breaking up with somebody. It was like a first person I was in a relationship with after my divorce, and I was brokenhearted, and I just wanted to.
How long ago are we talking? A year, 5 years, 2 years?
Years ago. So Divorce Diaries has been around. First implementation of it was like a one-woman workshop series in 2016. And then I started doing stand-up, I think, in 2017. And started slowly trickling into stand-up. And then I created it into a stand-up show. But this guy I dated was back in 2017. Like I just kept dating these unavailable men, emotionally unavailable men. And I do a bit in my act where my tagline of the show is I teach kids with special needs and I date men with special needs. So
which is redundant.
Yeah. And that
so you weren't doing stand-up before the Divorce Diaries thing.
No, I did improv for years and then I paused on it. And then I didn't start doing stand-up till after I started writing Divorce Diaries. And I took a stand-up class because I broke up with this guy and I felt like I wanted to make fun of him on stage and just get back at him. And it's enough. But I also missed being on stage, and I was trying to get back in an improv class and everything was full. So I took a stand-up class at Caroline's. Shout out to Linda Smith, who is my teacher.
Linda Smith, wonderful stand-up teacher.
Wonderful woman. And she, I never stopped doing stand-up since then. So,
Well, good for you.
So now that's a little, usually guys, or not guys, comedians or whatever, they have their acts, and sometimes they eventually develop it into a one-person show. And you
did it the other way
flipped the
around.
script. Now, what about your boyfriends and your husband? Were they performers or comedians or?
no, I never dated a comedian. My ex-husband was not an actor at all. Farthest thing from it. He didn't want to be on camera. He never wanted to be in the spotlight. My boyfriend now is not an actor, but he's very supportive of this work. It's hard to find somebody who is, because a lot of the men I was dating, I would roast them in my acts because they wouldn't want a relationship and they would do weird crap and I would roast them. But I started to realize like certain ways to do that, so that I could still maintain a healthy relationship.
You could look them in the eye after the show.
Yeah, I mean, they wouldn't be supportive. And I think that along the way, it became a trademark of the show of like, oh, she really wants love. I mean, the show is about finding love, but in essence, it's about really loving yourself first. So I poke fun at all of it. And then a year ago, my current boyfriend and I have been together a year. And it's like, when I met him, he was like, first thing he did was watch my comedy special. And when I saw him again, he's like, I watched your comedy special. I was like, oh, he might be a keeper.
Well, did he like it? Did he? Oh, he did.
He
Well,
did.
just getting through it is the whole thing, you know.
No, I will say, like, a lot of the times with stand-up, I had to learn too how to relate to, just with Divorce Diaries, the live show evolved from a one-woman play to comics being on a stand-up show to going back to the one-person version as a one-woman comedy show where it mixed stand-up and improv. And I at the time, my daughter, when I first started doing stand-up, my daughter was about 3 or 4 years old, and it was harder to leave her or have my parents helping me and like to go do a mic and I didn't believe in the hanging out at the clubs. I'm like, I have a kid at home. And at the time I didn't realize nobody cares you have a kid at home. You got to show up, you know?
Yeah, you do.
Right. So I was like, I'm going to turn Divorce Diaries into a comedy show and make my own opportunities, which was good to an extent. But in a way, it started to drift away from the vision of what I thought Divorce Diaries was, which is a brand, but also a story about my life as a single mom and all the chaos that is incorporated into that. And so I just went back to the one woman version. I tour with the show. I created a podcast. I have a web series. I shot a TV pilot. I want the show to be like the next The Office or Golden Girls, because I feel like it has these universal themes. And
there's certainly enough divorcees and divorced men and divorced, you know.
Well,
you're looking at two of them.
yeah.
And I'm trying to, I'm analyzing you right now, judging every word. It sounds to me like you went through some tough times and creatively used comedy to deal with it. Is that fair?
110%. Humor heals. I think the mistake is using humor, the comedy as therapy, but I think it is therapeutic. I go
just by doing it. Just by doing it.
Yeah, I think I love being on stage. I've known that since I was a kid as a dancer. I started off as a dancer. I loved theater. I studied theater in college. I've always loved performing, and I'm always drawn to comedy because I feel like you can touch the audience in a way that makes them feel good and makes them feel seen and heard. So that was always the vision with Divorce Diaries, when I make somebody in the audience feel like they have felt seen, right? And through what I'm telling a joke or telling a story about my life. And there's a part of the show I incorporated 6 years ago. Someone helped me shift the improv part, because improv is usually done with a group of people or a partner. And I usually do it by myself. Or sometimes I'll have one partner, but it's a game called A Letter to My Ex. And the audience writes a line they would say to their ex. And I don't know what the line is until the second half of the show. And it's a game. And so they kind of get to roast their ex in the show.
All right. I was going to ask you about your improv background. I share that. And I also studied theater in college as well. So you get turned on by this stuff. I was.
Yeah.
Where'd you study improv? Where'd you do improv?
Upright Citizens Brigade.
Oh boy. All right.
Yeah. Loved it.
So you were doing that before you got
Yeah.
married, and then you kind of put that all to the side for a while?
Yeah, so I was doing that in college. I was studying it, and then out of college, and I was just starting to get momentum. And I always like to say, I remember meeting my ex-husband and thinking, and I was touring with musical theater too. And I was on like I had got all these bookings for the rest of the year from May to December. And that's when I met my ex-husband. And like when my last tour came, I wanted to stay close to him and all this crap. And then I shifted, my priorities shifted at the time. And, I think things happen for a reason, but I went and got my master's in educational theater, and I didn't go back to that improv. I think I went up to like level 3 and stopped. And I kind of, there's always a part of me that's like, man, if you didn't stop then, that momentum would have kept going, because, comedy's a marathon, right? But
you can always go back there.
Yeah.
Always.
So like that's where I'm at now, where I'm like, all right, I taught theater and dance for many years. I still teach it. I don't teach it in the school system. I work for university, and I also have my own theater company, but I primarily do stand-up now because that's the goal. Like, I feel like stand-up is the one piece of performing where I feel the most at home,
Really, it's not the one-woman show. It's stand-up you find.
I think
it's kind of the same thing.
It's not a one-woman show. It's actually a one-woman show is quite different from stand-up.
Well, I think that's a good point. I think it's a part of my home. So it's like stand-up is a part of Divorce Diaries, but the show is a piece of like my personal legend, right? Whereas the craft that I'm leading with right now is stand-up.
But you said people were crying when you first did the one-woman show. Yeah. What was sad about it? And now, is it funnier now?
Well, breaking up is always sad.
Yeah.
Have you ever broken up with a girl that you didn't even really like that much, and you're still sad after you break up?
Divorce.
It's crazy.
Even if you have what you would call an amiable divorce, it's horrible.
It is.
It's horrible.
I had the play was like, I made it where I was a pseudonym. It wasn't playing Michelle. I was playing this character Jenny and the character of the baby. And there was more sentimental pieces in the show. And I felt like people weren't crying because it was bad. I would hope they were crying because some people in the audience were going through divorce. And I think they were just touched by it.
Okay.
But I will say, I was like, I don't want it to be sad. I want it to be funny. I want people to be like, yeah, that's crazy. And that's happened to me. So
you want to kind of glance off it instead of digging into it.
Yeah, I want it to be a party. I want people to be, this is the vision of Divorce Diaries. When you come to a Divorce Diaries show, it's like we're all sitting in my living room having pizza and wine with my Italian cousins, and it feels like everyone's a part of the show. That's what the vibe is. And we're laughing, and because that's how I grew up. My family may not have money, a lot of money, but everyone came to my mother's house and like laughed and told stories, and you felt 10 times better leaving the house than when you walked in. And that's what I want my show to be. Divorced, married, single, everybody can find a piece of themselves in this show, because it talks about the universal theme of loving yourself and through all these different avenues.
I have a big question.
Yeah.
In Divorce Diaries, how do men come across? Go ahead. Tell us straight.
Boy, why don't you just paint her into a corner? You could have made it a little gentler.
No, well, I think that's a great question, because a lot of the times people are like, what do you bash men? And I think that the journey of the show has taken different outlooks where sometimes I can see it here in my stand-up. I'm like, wow, I'm really hurt and I'm really angry. And other times it comes across as like, well, she just really wants to find her partner. So I would say that the goal, the intention for it to come across to men is that, be a decent guy. Like, that's how it used to come across, like, be a decent guy. Like, I'm a great woman. But now I think the intention for men is to be like, we all want to be loved. So if anything, I want men to feel included, not outskirted, And I used to do a bit too, where I'm like, men come to my show. I have a majority of male followers, which is the irony in that. And they come for whatever they come for, but a lot of people say, oh, we tuned into you and now we're here to stay because we really like your storyline, like what's going on in your life. And I have taken a lot of journeys in divorce, like learning about myself and not self-sabotaging and getting so angry and worked up. And, it's been a journey. It really is. My boyfriend makes fun of me because he's like, oh, it's not just about the journey. I'm like, but it's like the comedic journey, right? Of like how you handle situations with not like I fly off the handle sometimes. And I talk about that. And I feel like men could be like, yeah, that's crazy. That I know somebody who did that. So my goal and intention for men who watch the show is to find me relatable, and just to really feel like, oh, she's not bashing us. She's making us feel accepted.
Well, if you're just up there being honest, people really shouldn't have a problem with that. If somebody has a problem with that, not to be a psychiatrist, but it's their problem, not your problem.
Right. And 100% agree. And I think it's always it's a process to learn about how, listening to my tapes and transcribing and rewriting material. So it isn't coming across as this woman's going to come up here and man bash. No, I want everyone to feel welcome and feel like they can connect. I think that's also a big thing with comics, especially in this female comic. Oh, she's a woman. She's going to talk about her period and divorce and sex. And yes, I do talk about those things. I'm honest. I do. It's funny.
Actually, so do I, which is odd.
It's part of your life. How often do you have like couples that are engaged that are there? Or freshly married couple? Is that the right word? Recently married.
Yes, I have had. I would say this last show I did in Austin 2 weeks ago, we had 2 groups of people who were on their first date.
Really?
First date. And in other shows, I've had a bachelor party. I've had people who were engaged, but they're work for divorce attorneys.
I love that. So you take your show out around. You were just in Austin?
Yeah. So I toured the show. And that's how I went in 2018. Like I wanted to start taking the show on the road and really building it up because it was a niche show. And I felt like I can get more stage time with my own show. And I pitched it to Funny Bone in Albany and he took it and he brought me on. Shout out Dave Stroud for giving me a chance. And I just worked. I kept pitching it to places and
you're the whole show. I mean, or do you have other comedians on the show or how's it work?
I'm the whole show, but it evolved from me with other comedians to just me and a special guest or sometimes just me. But then now I've learned I always need a special guest. It helps buffer the audience to be settled and ready in their seats. And
of course.
I think it's a must. And I let go of but if I'm not good enough, then I shouldn't be out here doing it alone. But then I realized I'm like, you got to set the tone for your show. Like I usually have a special guest that has worked with me, has been in the pilot or the web series, or has developed a strong relationship with me so that I trust the person before going on stage.
Is that another word for opening act, special guest? In other words, get the audience ready, which is a skill in itself.
Yeah, I think so. I call it special guest because sometimes they do come back at the end of the show and do the improv part with me. If the special guest is a comedian I've worked with on the TV pilot or web series and they have a background in improv, we do a game on stage together with the lines to the X. And sometimes they don't, and we still do it. Like in Austin 2 weeks ago, my special guest, we did the line to the X scene and it worked. It's usually a fan favorite of the show, the improv part with a partner. They really like it because they like to see X's like interact in weird situations with their line.
That's
great.
And people like to see something being created in front of them always.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that like it gives them ownership, a piece of ownership in the show. I think that was a big part when I started Divorce Diaries was wanting people to feel heard through and I carried that as a teacher in theater. I always enjoyed watching my students, like directing them in musicals and feeling like the kid that necessarily wasn't a performer felt like they were heard and seen and felt proud of themselves. So I think that's a piece in my comedy and in the Divorce Diaries show that really, I think, separates from everything else, from everything else that's out there.
Wow.
You sound like a strong woman to me. Do you encounter? Yes.
The kind you avoid.
I thought you were going to say the kind I'm intimidated by. I was gonna ask you, do you ever get pushback? Do you ever get, people who are a little threatened, or they don't know how to deal with you, or what she's coming in and she's got this show. And
well, you certainly don't come across like somebody with a chip on her shoulder at all.
No, but she comes across, as a person who knows what she wants to do.
Yeah, I think
I love it.
Thank you. I think thankfully in the last couple of years, I have really continued to build the show and bring it back to the clubs around the country that really know what I'm about. And they care about ticket sales, but they're not like uber focused. We're not bringing it back to sales go up. They see what I'm doing and they help me grow. So I've surrounded myself with that core circuit of clubs and people, but I'm sure I'm not everybody's cup of tea. I try to lead with kindness as much as I can, and also try not to take things personally, because that's a big part. What's hard to do in this industry for me personally is sometimes it's just business. It's not personal.
Right. And you can keep telling yourself, decades later, we're still,
Yeah, you can say it's not personal, and it's often not personal.
Maybe they just misplaced my phone number.
Yeah, but still you feel it. It's not personal sometimes, but it's still tough.
The sometimes the not hearing back from a booker, when you've circled back, it starts to weigh on you, and it's but then you realize, like, okay, it's not, we just keep going.
I think it would be.
And it always will. It's so easy to say, well, I didn't care. If you didn't care, you wouldn't be doing this,
So ironic if a booker didn't get back to you because he was too busy going through a divorce. The irony of that would be profound. But I want to say
odds of that happening.
Michelle just said something really important that I admire. She mentioned the term kindness. Just be kind. I'm not offended by anything stand-up say, unless it feels mean.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. Just be kind. And I think that applies in life. And I also think it applies in stand-up.
Yes. The best relationships you can develop are just acknowledging somebody and good job and how are you, and being just saying thank you. And the staff at the clubs too. Like that's been parts of like where I really build relationships with the club and the staff there, because I want to take care of them because I know how hard they work. And just that
that's so important. And there's so many, I don't know about it anymore, but in the old days there was so many starting out guys or guys been around that were just rude to the waitresses and the bartenders, and they thought they didn't stink, and and that doesn't go well. Waitresses and bartenders, it's important to have them on your side. It just really is,
And sometimes
the waitresses were rejecting me for no reason.
Oh, I can give you a few reasons. But.
Yeah, and I think too, like that's my whole goal is to just keep getting better as a comic, but also like if I am putting out the energy of just being a good human, being authentically me, I'm gonna get that back at some point. I'm gonna get it back. Like I always say, like I do believe in that. I feel like it comes back, and you got to just keep to it. And like, I used to get negative about, oh, this is just this kind of club, or this is just one club like me. And my boyfriend said to me a couple months ago, he's like, why? He's like, if you believe that, that's what is going to happen. But if you go in with a positive perspective and a positive attitude, everything's going to shift. And it did. Like, I remember like, a lot of that has. If you go in thinking in a certain way, it's all downhill. If you're thinking positive,
we've all had those places that you walk in and like, well, am I going to do my show or am I going to shoot myself in the head? But you just bear through, and very often it turns out wonderful. It
Michelle,
just does.
I'm listening to you. We have a lot in common. I'm thinking about how I studied theater in college and how I started doing improv and how I got into stand up. And I'm also a teacher. You're a teacher. Tell us about that.
So I love teaching. Teaching theater and dance has also been this parallel for me as a performer because when I was getting my master's, I realized, oh, I could actually be an actor in the classroom and help kids learn through the arts. And when I was going through divorce, I got hired in a school district as a preschool theater teacher, and it was the best. Like, I got to teach theater to my same age as my daughter and just be an actor with them. And I would put on these musicals, and I loved early childhood too.
I never even knew that existed. Preschool drama class.
They have it in New York City too, and I had it. The school hired me. I mean, then they brought me on full time, and then I taught K through 8th at one point. I wasn't a huge fan of middle school, but it made for great comedy. And I also helped kids. I mean, we did it. I really enjoy. I have a unique gift for helping kids who aren't necessarily performing, like they don't necessarily take theater, but I would have the gift of being able to get them to perform and engage in drama and acting and dance lessons. So I love it. And I also am the program director in the educational theater program at Adelphi University, which was my undergrad where I got my theater degree.
All right.
Wow. So where are you from, actually?
Jersey. I'm right outside of New York City.
Is that where you are now?
I am.
Try to sound happy about it.
My mom is very particular. She's an amazing mom, but she's very Italian, old school. She'll notice if I put something wrong in the wrong place. So
But she can help you with your daughter when you have to.
Yes, she's amazing. Her and my
traveling.
Yeah. My dad passed a few years ago, but today's her wedding anniversary, so she has everything.
Oh, happy anniversary, Mom.
All right. Okay. Good. It's all
congrats.
good. Listen, let's Michelle, what do you want to tell everybody? We have lots of comedians who watch this, and tell us about where we can see Michele Traina. I bet you have a cool website.
Yes, so you can check me out at divorcediariesshow.com or micheletraina.com. Pretty simple. I do daily live streams on my YouTube channel. I have social media. I try to put as much funny stuff out there to grow the show, and you can watch the pilot on Prime, Divorce Diaries.
Oh, so the people that are listening to this,
Divorce
Michele Traina, Traina. It's not trainer, it's Traina.
Yes.
Yes, Michelle with one L and Traina.
Yes. And the website is actually divorcediariesshow.com because divorcediaries.com was too expensive to purchase.
I believe you. So let's get our plugs in now. Jackie always has big shows coming up. I'm at Pizza Hut in Hicksville here on Long Island next week.
Actually, I'm working at Rodney's the last time I was at Rodney's was when me and Peter auditioned for Comedy Tonight in 1985.
Oh my goodness.
Oh.
And so I haven't been back in that room. So
it used to be called Dangerfields, and now it's Rodney's.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And also I know I just booked I've never done cruises, but me and a couple other comics are going to do a comedy cruise, not till February. I hope I'm still around, but
February of next year.
Yeah, it's any second the way life moves, and aside from that, I'm not doing a million things,
All right. So, well, you're pretty busy. I'm busy. We are thrilled to be at Paradise Studios here in Massapequa, where anybody out there who has any video needs at all. Yes, there's Paradise Studios, any podcasting needs. And this is the home base for the Long Island Podcasting School. If you want to start out and avoid making beginner mistakes, take the Long Island Podcasting School right here with all the professionals. There's a lot of studios here in this facility.
No, doesn't somebody else have a school?
Somebody else has a school. Michelle, I want to brag to you about this. Stand Up University for 27 years. I thought it was going to last 6 months. I've been teaching stand-up here at the Brokerage Comedy Club, one of the governor's clubs, to people who are starting out in comedy. And it's very, very rewarding to help people avoid the beginner mistakes and get a running jump into stand-up. So we've got the Long Island Podcasting School. We've got Paradise Studios here in Massapequa. And last but not least, we are live now, Michelle, on Strong Island Television, which is the podcast network that comes along with
the first show goes out live. There are people listening live.
She's live right now.
Live.
And then on Wednesdays, we come out on YouTube and Apple and Spotify and all of the other audio platforms. That's our story.
Fantastic.
And you know what?
I think we need to.
I want to see.
We need to do you again because you're fascinating.
That came out wrong.
Well,
I censored myself, and then I said, "No, I'm saying whatever I want."
I want to see you. I'm so curious about this. And Divorce Diaries. Everybody remember Divorce Diaries? You will find Michele Traina.
Yes.
Right?
And I will come in person next time.
We would love that.
Yes.
We would love that. And we have so much more to talk about. You were terrific.
Thank you.
Thank
so
you.
much. You
And thanks for rearranging. I know we did a little dancing there, but
so bad. And yes,
I never said it. I watched your set on. I don't know how we got in contact. Who contacted who?
I contacted you because the people on my live stream on my YouTube channel was like, you should ask him you should open for him. And I was like, oh, I'll look you up. And I was like, oh my God, that'd be great. Let me reach out to him.
And I watched your whole show and I thought it was fantastic. So,
oh, that's cool. That is so cool. Michelle, thank you. We want to have you on again.
Yes.
And we'll let you now get back to your laundry. And this has been Stand Up Memories. This has been Jackie the Joke Man Martling, my pal since 1977, a long time ago. And I'm Peter Bales, and we will see you next time on Stand Up Memories.
Thank you, Michelle.
Thank you.
Thank you.